Oh hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and of course in today's video I'm going to compare Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Just to see just how far this franchise has come in terms of the technology, in terms of the gameplay, and in terms of what we are doing in the game. So yeah, well, without any further ado, let's just get on with it. So right in the beginning, let's compare the gameplay. So in gameplay, of course, we have three pillars of Assassin's Creed. Those are the stealth, the parkour, and the combat. So yeah, let's see stealth in Assassin's Creed 1.
Your search has come to an end. I've anything anyone could possibly need. I have exactly what you need. My good people, your search has come to an end. I've anything anyone could possibly need. Come one, come all. I've much to serve. Come people, come see what I have to offer. Welcome. I have everything you'll ever know.
Now, once that is done, let's now see the stealth in Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Verbum autum Dei quod est multis ceremonibus, et parum habens significatione.
Okay, maybe that wasn't quite fair on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Well, here is what Assassin's Creed Valhalla looks like when the stealth actually works. Which it doesn't for the most part. But yeah. Anyway, so now you guys know this is what this franchise can be, right? So this is 13 years worth of innovation. So from 2007 to 2020, this is 13 years worth of innovation. 13 years to go from what we saw in Assassin's Creed 1 to what we saw in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So yeah, absolutely. Now moving on to the next category, of course, that is parkour. So again, this is Assassin's Creed 1.
Die, thief.
And now this is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, if we are being honest, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is slower, clunkier, not really parkour, doesn't have mechanics per se, doesn't quite work all the time, and also our character moves like a old man with arthritis. But who needs speed, right? Like, we don't need speed, do we? Anyway, moving on to the next category. That is combat. Now, this is combat in Assassin's Creed 1. And this is combat in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So, as you could see, in Assassin's Creed 1, of course, it was essentially just keep the parry button on and make sure you just press the attack button right at this proper time and you will get insta-kills. In Valhalla, things are a lot different. In Valhalla, you essentially have to keep pressing the attack button so that you can get enough health off and enough of that stun bar fulfilled so that you can start the finisher and get that one-hit kill. So moving on to, after the gameplay section is done, now let's see the innovations that this game has made in the story department. Now, let's see Assassin's Creed 1 story. Now, it's basically just us tailing someone, or us pickpocketing someone, us beating up someone, or going to an informant and killing 2 people, or what was the other one? I can't remember. There was another one, right? Yeah, so there are like 3 or 4 missions for every target, and we have to kill 9 of these targets. So yeah, it gets a little repetitive because we have to kill 9 of these targets and do these same 3-4 missions every single time. And the game itself lasts for about 15 hours. So it's the same repetitive thing for 15 hours. Now, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that is where the real innovation is at. Because in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we go to a region, we talk to some guy, we help that guy, we earn an alliance, we go on some missions, which are just us going somewhere and killing them, or us going somewhere and pressing the E button on the keyboard, which is not repetitive at all. And we have to do this in 18 regions, which again is absolutely not repetitive. This is not repetitive at all. The earlier ones were repetitive. This is not repetitive. Absolutely not. And of course, we get to do all of this for 100 hours. See the innovation in this? This is so innovative. Not only do we get to play these missions again and again and again, we have to do this for 18 separate regions, and we have to play this for 100 hours to actually finish the story. We have to give it a round of applause, right? Now I know this doesn't really hold much credence in terms of the actual Assassin's Creed story. But the reason why I talked about it the way that I did is that if you look at the actual story of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, if you look at the actual linear story, the story with Eivor and Sigurd and the whole Valhalla arc, That story, presented as a linear game, is one of the best stories that has ever been told in this franchise. There is no doubt in my mind about it. It is on the level of Assassin's Creed Revelations. Maybe even better. Maybe it's just my nostalgia blinding me to the fact that it might be even better than Revelations. So yeah, it is up there. But just because we saw the whole transition to the RPG structure of it, we saw this thing happen in Origins, Odyssey, and now Valhalla, where essentially you have to do the side quests to go anywhere with the main quest. Here though, they just made it part of the main quest anyway. So like here, even if you grind, you can't actually do anything. That is the thing I have a problem with. Why not have a linear story in a game that was all about linearity? Now you can say, oh, these are RPGs now, and that is my point. These are not very good RPGs because at the end of the day, an RPG is all about us making choices. If I want to, I can boot up Skyrim and go and finish the main storyline without ever engaging in a side content. Now, I'm not saying that is what will happen, but I can do it. In Valhalla, there is literally no way for me to actually pull this off. And that is my biggest issue with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, of course, this is an issue that can be fixed, and it can be fixed very easily. So I won't hold it against Valhalla, but I just wanted to make my point known. Now, of course, moving on from story to the world. Now, Assassin's Creed 1, right? The map itself is small, it's focused. There are, they removed some areas of the map, like especially between the kingdom and the cities, because, who would want to ride and horse for minutes on end without actually doing anything? Because that would be boring. So, of course, they removed all of that and they just kept the cities where the stories are focused. The cities themselves are designed so that, parkour as a mechanic could work, and it works rather well. Now, of course, this is the beginning of Assassin's Creed. Of course, we didn't get the innovation yet. And the innovation arrives, of course, in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So now, of course, the innovation here is that now we get to ride our horses for minutes at a time while doing nothing. Wait, did I get the meaning of innovation right over here? Right? I just feel like there is something missing here, right? I feel like innovation means something else. Because I thought the other games didn't do it because it would be boring, but now the games do it and it is not boring for some reason. I don't get it, because evolution means a change that takes something in a better direction. Evolution is something that is supposed to take a design or as something and make it better. I seem to have missed the evolution here. I don't see it. Do you guys see it? I don't. So yeah, that is where I'm at. Now, in the beginning of the video, you might have thought that I am actually seriously comparing Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Well, now I can tell you I am not. I've heard this comment time and again where people have said, oh, the older fans just do not appreciate the positive changes, the evolution that this franchise has had. And so I just wanted to take us back and take us to the very first game and compare that. Because by any sense of the word, these games have not evolved. And to the people who are saying, these older fans, they don't like change. Well, let's just put it this way. You get a brand new console, you get a brand new PlayStation 5 or a brand new Xbox Series X. Or maybe if you are extremely lucky, you get a 3080. And now for some reason, you can't use it. No, you have to use a 750 Ti instead. Or maybe you have to use a PlayStation 3 or an original Xbox. Now that would be a change, but would it be a good change? And that is where my problem lies with this franchise. There has been no evolution. It has changed, yes, but it hasn't evolved. It has become worse. In almost every single aspect of this game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is worse than Assassin's Creed 1. Like maybe other than the combat and the graphics, because let's be honest, a game from 2007 should not even hold up a candle against a game on 2020. 13 years later, graphics should have improved, and it has improved. The combat system is even more boring than Assassin's Creed 1. The stealth, again, doesn't work in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The parkour is horrible. The story, people love to complain about Assassin's Creed 1 being repetitive, while praising Origins, Odyssey, and now Valhalla. As I've said before in the video, I actually do think that Valhalla has a brilliant story to tell, and that is in fact a huge improvement over what we got in Assassin's Creed 1 and even Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. I would say this is better than those two stories. This is comparable to Revelations for me, but of course, a story quality is a bit subjective. So why is it that I am not happy with it? It's because for the most part, it doesn't work. It doesn't work the way you want it to. And that is not something you should be saying about a story as good as Assassin's Creed Valhalla's. But all that said though, I know this is a different sort of a video than what you usually get, but yeah, I just felt like I had heard enough and I wanted to make a video such as this one. Now, I don't know how many people are actually going to see this, if anyone at all is going to see this, but yeah. If you are seeing this and if you are still someone who thinks that these games have evolved, I urge you to go back and play Assassin's Creed 1. Then maybe you will get some clarity on this. Anyway, that all being said, if you do enjoy the content, then consider pressing that like button and do subscribe to my channel for more content, because of course there is more content coming. And well, that said, I will leave you guys in peace.